Good morning. Lovely to be here with you this morning and hear from all those inspiring speakers about the opportunities really to grow and learn. And there's so much good practice out there. So a little bit about us then, and thank you indeed to Pat and the team. And at the Land Development Agency, we work very closely with the Irish Green Building Council, and I think that the roadmap you're talking about is going to be very important to supporting everybody find this way in terms of circularity, which really is at the heart of this. So, who are we? The Land Development Agency. We're fairly new kids on the block in Ireland, so the state's Land Development Agency, so we're all about delivery of affordable and social housing. We were established on a legislative footing in 2021, and you've heard talk there about the issues. We have real challenges around housing and having affordable housing in this country. The scale, we've seen a lot of growth, 2% per annum, very high growth, but we're not keeping a pace with that growth. So this is why that we need more focused effort for affordable and social housing. And this is what it's all about, essentially, making sure that we can deliver more affordable and social housing. It is about renewal of communities and also delivering that social impact. For us, a big focus is around building the cost rental sector. This is about making sure that people have security of tenure into the future. So the social as well as affordable and sustainable are all close to what we're trying to do and achieve. So it is not just about the homes, but it's about that quality and comfort and affordability. And from us, it starts with that vision and plan stage. And our vision is there, as you'll see, about the communities that we create, because this is about the long-term legacy. We've heard all about that circularity and how we need to really think about the future and adapt and be flexible as to how we use those homes. And the purpose there, I think another important thing to say is that it's about public land as well. Public land is a finite resource, and that is one of the big issues in Ireland that we face, that having that availability of land in the right places to support affordability and housing provision is one of the big policy challenges that we've faced. So for us, we have a remit there around optimising relevant public land. So a lot of our towns and cities would have grown, would have evolved over time, but not necessarily changing the uses. So things like depots and these brownfield locations that are probably not best suited to vitality and viability of our towns and cities. There's opportunities to look at how we prioritise and consider those. So thinking about it from a place and a plan perspective. So I would really resonate. I'm coming from a planning background, so there's a huge amount of technicality here that I feel like us, in terms of the the regulation, the planning system, there's a big job to integrate and understand that circularity, but also sustainability, and how we deliver that from the top down and then measure and look at how that's achieved. So our delivery mechanisms, we have a pipeline of about 18,000 at the moment, and a lot of that is being sourced from public lands where we're directly delivering. So a lot of schemes going through the planning process, design-led at the moment, and huge efforts there to really unlock some of these sites, because some of them will be constraints and have uses on the sites that need to be relocated or re-provided elsewhere. So not without their challenges. So we recognise that it takes quite a time for estate lands to come through, and the issue for us is then being able to acquire land. So we're out there as well looking at how we can acquire land on the market, but the place is the key thing for us, making sure that it's sustainable, it supports compact development. In Ireland, we would have had a lot of issues around the one-off house and that ribbon development that you're seeing. So trying to change the culture, trying to make sure that we're all living more sustainably and thinking about reducing the need to travel. So these are at the core of what we're trying to do. So almost at the top of the triangle there is about the place and thinking about that. So the other thing, and it's a really big area for us as well, there's big viability, cost of living challenges, And our colleagues on the investment side have brought in frameworks working with the house builders, the top house builders in the country, gone through a public procurement exercise, but just getting access to that land in the right places. So first of all, being able to acquire developments that are stalled and be able to move them on. That was the first framework. And now we've put in a new framework that enables us to access lands. So gone through, tested the market to make sure that we can get that value from the market in terms of opportunities. And also there's a lot of work going on there around, so when we're forward purchasing these permissions, it's building the capacity of the development industry as well to optimise that. But I think there's credit also to, you know, looking at how do we build in that sustainability requirements. And Michael Gowan and his team have led a huge piece of work there around building in those indicators, the metrics, the requirements, and actually it's helping the whole market to understand, you know, this is the future for us, this is where we need to be getting to, because we have to be able to deliver, because we will hold on to these, you know, the cost rental is very much about living and security of tenure. People will have a lifetime in these 40, 50 years, and thinking about how we manage the costs, ensure efficiencies and carbon reduction as well. So Project Hussey is what that's called. It's a framework we're able to forward purchase homes, but also build in impact on the design approach as well. So it is helping to build capacity. And I think this is one for me as well. I mentioned I'm an urban planner by background, so trying to navigate and understand there's so many different systems of accreditation. So I found it very helpful, the Irish Green Building Council's approach to this, the Home Performance Index. And Michael was taking us through this as to which are the accreditations that would be most appropriate, because we're a new body on the block and really thinking about how do we make sure that we are delivering, you know, those flagship high quality standards of developments that are going to be future proofed as well. So really thinking about this, and you can see this takes across the entire, you know, life cycle in terms of the circular economy life cycle. It's thinking about universal design, it's thinking about water, energy efficiency. But importantly, it's helpful right across the teams so that we can think about, you know, what are the issues, right from the plan stage to the contracts to the delivery section. What are the indicators or the metrics that we're trying to hit? And actually, it's very important to us now that we're on a journey going from here. So they're built into our contracts, they're built into our plans. We have guidelines coming through in terms of mobility management and typologies. So it's helping us understand and set the agenda for the type of home that the LDA is delivering, and that quality and efficiency and standards of design and efficiency are really important. So look, this is helping us our next journey, which is around the Corporate Sustainability Directive reporting. And this is where it's really going to hit the road now in terms of data, performance management, huge amount of effort going in through our teams who are, you know, now that we have tenants in our homes, you know, there's a real opportunity there to test. We're looking at sensors as well, monitoring, really testing and learning, because we recognise this is us leading out on this journey, and we need to learn and develop from here. So again, going from there as well, thinking about the top down, you know, we need a strategy and approach to this. And this is one of the things that we've done really, is to develop a sustainable development strategy, which thinks about how we can better support compact growth. We have in terms of planning under the National Planning Framework, we have a particular role about supporting that National Planning Framework. We're looking at targets about 50,500 potentially into the future. That's almost doubling from what it was in 2018, 25,000. But there's an unmet need out there that needs to be provided for, and ongoing growth. So for us, it's about that compact growth and promoting active and sustainable modes of travel, reducing the need to travel indeed, and providing for more efficient use of the land within state control. It's a finite resource, and we need to make sure that we optimise that in the public interest. and provide the affordable, climate adaptive and low carbon homes. And I think we're seeing today that, you know, this is a learning journey. It's using the data, and it's that monitoring and reviewing and informing the efficiency and the design as we go forward. And also a key area for us looking forward is we're going to be looking at this social return. It's not just the affordable housing, but it's also about the quality of life and the standards that we provide, that security of tenure into the future, but the amenities as well. And I'm going to talk to you a bit about Shanganagh, which is our flagship scheme that's being delivered currently. But again, this gives you a snapshot of the Sustainable Development Strategy. Again, Michael and the team, I'll call out on that has actually now been delivered across the agency. We have an action plan to support that. And it's very clear around the pillars of this to reduce carbon. And we're developing that climate action roadmap at the moment. Really looking at design-led energy demand reduction approach, integrate the carbon accounting processes, and minimising the performance gap for improved tenant comfort and affordability. And it's that testing and checking and an approach to developing and improving all the while. Again, the water stewardship, optimising land use and sustainability, that modal shift. We'll think about modal management as well for all of our schemes, thinking about enhancing biodiversity and climate resilience. And that is a big and growing area, and there's a particular impact there and link across to planning. And I think that, you know, as the plans are developed and they're longer term, we have a new planning and development bill, and it's now an act actually since this last month. But there's big issues coming around nature restoration, but also biodiversity net gain. We're also thinking about energy and renewable energy targets. Now, there's a land use implication to that. We can do so much from the bottom up in the metrics, but we have to go top down as well and understand, and I think we can do much better in this country around spatial planning. And in the LDA, we have a function around register of public land where we identify all of the public land. So it's a really good resource. And then we look at, you know, how might that be better optimised? We have to report to government every 2 years. But we also need to think about from a catchment area level as well as to how we plan in the most appropriate way for sustainable living and development into the future. And there's only so much you can do at that top level and then meet it from the bottom up. When you listen to the India and the challenges we face around that carbon reduction and really thinking about the climate changes, there's opportunities there to really use nature, but also, you know, improve and enhance nature and how we live and work. So talking about the top down to the bottom up, one of the things that we needed to do as well from the early days was to really look at our passive house typology, or our typologies indeed for what is an LDA product. And principles have been set out in this typology booklet, which focus on the early stage optimization and the value of that. And there's a real correlation then between cost efficiency and building fabric efficiency. This focuses on building compact forms, a simplification of the design, avoiding complicated detailing, and low levels of thermal bridging. These are all important, as well as the high levels of air tightness that contribute to buildings that are more comfortable and easier to maintain and repair, and indeed cheaper to run. And this, of course, is very important to us in terms of that building stock that we need to maintain and make sure that we're covering the costs of that, but also that it's delivering the comfort and quality of life to our residents there. So Shanganagh Castle, this is our flagship scheme really, and going back to that top-down, bottom-up, this is one that was developed. It's in the south of Dublin, in a place near Shankill there. It's on the Dart line as well. There's a Dart station, which is the light rail transit system in the locality. It's in a fabulous location between the mountains and the sea, and close to an existing village settlement. But the important thing about this, it was designed from the early days as Passive House. And that started in the plan, Dún Laoghaire-Rathdown's development plan. There was an ambition back in 2015, and these things take time to plan and deliver. And indeed, the council and the councillors had to take a punt on that and say, look, we'll go with this. But again, then when the LDA, when the Land Development Agency came into being, this was one of the first schemes that we worked with Dún Laoghaire-Rathdown on to progress, and they took a punt on us and we on them to say, look, we will help you with delivering on this. So the plan, the local area plan, was developed for the Shanganagh Castle estate lands, and it's a partnership approach, and ABK were the architects involved right from the get-go on that. And what it is about mixed tenure. It's very much delivering on that cost rental. So we have 306 cost rental units, 51 affordable for sale units that are gone on sale now, and the remainder is social housing. So it's a properly mixed community there. And importantly, what it has is the amenities for living in that locality. And we've provided the full life cycle development management services throughout the scheme. And from planning lodged in 2020, typically it's a 5-year cycle from acquiring the land right through to planning and delivery or getting started on the site. And this one, from planning to delivery now, we're here in 24, and we've had the first handover essentially. So it has been delivered on time and on budget. So it's a really good example for our flagship scheme, hugely positive. And the contract was signed in September 2022, and Walls are the construction company there for design and build, and they have been really, really good and progressive to work with, really high standards, really getting with the Passive House standards, because it is the biggest one in Ireland, indeed Europe. To get going, I know that there's a big focus across the building industry in Ireland now to look at Passive House, and that is really welcome, because I think we want to raise the quality and standards. And for Shanganagh, this is going to be completed in 2025. So for us, it's going from summer 22, an open field there, and you can see it's all quite low density around it. And these are the affordable for sale units, and these are delivered with the local authority. And behind that then, this is October 2024. You can see the context there and the scale of development and delivery. This is the other day there in Shanganagh. And what it's doing is really thinking about biodiversity net gain. It's thinking about that integration with community. There's beautiful parks, the public transport system. It's bringing in amenity space for working. You can see it there in front of that central area. Very quiet, opportunities that you don't really have to leave. The creche is in there from the beginning, and really thinking about sustainable living and high quality affordable housing. So huge demand for the units here. We'd love to be doing more and more, and indeed we have in our pipeline. But for us, it's really thinking about that quality of life, what the offer is here, and the partnership approach with local authorities is very, very important to us, and that learning. So this is a journey that we continue to go on with the councils across the country to look at how do we activate and unlock some of these strategic sites, particularly for public lands, and make sure that we're delivering on those. So I think, a fabulous location, and the first of many is our flagship. So I think that's me. Thank you.